bad to make welfare county as the federal government is to make a welfare country. and I think some of that ought to, if it, I don't know what, I'm getting a fact page or something, but anyway, this is a mess. And we ought to get county commissioners to care something about the people, not the welfare system.
Well, I agree. You think we're overtaxed?
Yes, sir. Way overtaxed.
Way overtaxed. So why is it, sir, we can't get the people to stand for something and make some changes? Why does everybody just sit back and take this? I would love someone to tell me.
I've been fussing about it for years, but nobody listened to me.
I agree. I've been fussing about it for years, too. I think it's time we organize and make some changes because our federal government has spent the future of our children. The $9 trillion that we are in debt is a travesty to the future of our country. We have mortgaged the future of our children, and no one wants to address it. The three candidates that's running for president don't say anything about it. I've not heard them say a word, and it's just an utter shame. And the change has to start. It's not going to start in Washington. We can give that up. So the change needs to start here on the grassroots level. People's got to get involved, and we've got to stand for something and get out of the easy chair. And, sir, I really do appreciate you calling and call in any time. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
That'll be about all today.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Email us at onair@therealnewsradio.com. Our website's therealnewsradio.com. Remember, the Real News Crew's going to Washington next Saturday. Will be an exciting program. We will have information on our website, video. We will also be commenting on the protest in Washington. The mainstream media will give it practically no airtime, I'll guarantee it. I wanted to also share with you what a UN chief warns, that food riots could spread worldwide. Rising food prices could threaten political stability around the world, the UN's leading humanitarian official said yesterday. Sir John Holmes, the Undersecretary General for Humanitarian Affairs and the UN's Emergency Relief Coordinator, was speaking after 2 days of rioting in Egypt over the soaring cost of basic food stocks. Didn't hear any of this in the media. He told a conference in Dubai that the rising food prices would spark unrest across vulnerable nations. Average prices have risen 40% across the world in less than a year. Did you hear that? Food has risen over 40% over the whole world. That should lead off the evening news every night. You don't get this in the mainstream press. Sir John said the security implications should also not be underestimated, as food riots are already being reported across the globe. Current food prices trends are likely to increase sharply, both in the incident and depth of food insecurity. As well as the riots in Egypt, rising food costs have been blamed for violent unrest in Haiti, Ivory Coast, Cameroon, and several other countries. Protests have also occurred in Yemen, Bolivia, and Indonesia, China, India, Pakistan, Cambodia, Vietnam. This is a huge story. It's not getting any reporting, people. This is being reported practically none by the mainstream press. This is the real news you need to know. Across the world, food prices have risen 40%. We would also like to mention now that we had the death of a real patriot this week, Charlton Heston. I want to mention this week that we lost someone who I believe stood for freedom, Charlton Heston, and I want to share with you the Real News favorite Charlton Heston quote.
I have 5 words for you. From my cold, dead hand.
That's in memory of Charlton Heston. I'd like to also mention that Florida lawmakers passed Take Your Guns to Work law. Tallahassee, Florida. This is Reuters news agency. Most Florida residents would be allowed to take guns to work under a measure passed by Florida lawmakers on Wednesday. The bill allowing workers to keep guns in their cars for self-protection was approved by the Florida Senate by a vote 26-13. It now goes to Republican Governor Charlie Crist to sign into law. Backed by the National Rifleman Association and some labor unions, the so-called Take Your Gun to Work measure would prohibit business owners from banning guns kept locking motor vehicles on their private property. This measure applies to employees, customers, and those invited to be in the business establishment as long as they've not permitted to carry the weapon. Backers say the measure upholds the vision of the authors of the U.S. Constitution, who made the right to bear arms part of the Bill of Rights. The second thing they wrote about is that the Constitution was the right to bear arms, said Senator Gerald Peden, a Republican from Crestview, Florida. it was what was dear to their hearts. This is great. At least Florida's doing something in the right direction, unlike Washington, D.C. We've got a phone call.
Yeah, this is Dave. How you doing today?
Hey, good, Dave. How you doing?
Good, good. I just wanted to add a couple of small additions to the federal manipulation of money in Texas.
Yes, sir.
Last year, the Feds came up with a figure of 2.3% inflation. So the Social Security recipients got a 2.3% increase. Every private outfit in the country paid inflation at 4.5 to 5.5. So they maneuvered it and manipulated it down to avoid paying out a lot of money that Social Security people deserved. Another example is the continuing decline of the federal interest rate. This not so much to keep the economy going. Remember, the U.S. federal government is one of the biggest debtors in the world.
Got that right.
That cuts the treasury bond rates down to about 2%. Elderly people that did everything right, they were told all through their lives to save their money and depended on CDs for part of their retirement income. CDs are now, I talked to a woman that's down at Piedmont Bank, they're at about 3%. They're going to decline, she thinks, to probably about 2.3. Now this is money that people should be getting 5, 6, 7% and counted on. And they did everything right, and they're being punished.
I agree with you. I think that's a travesty, and unfortunately we're running a little short on time, Dave. I do appreciate you calling. I think you make some extremely good points, and feel free to call us again.
Okay, you guys are doing a great job. Thank you.
Thank you. We had an email asking about a phone number you can call from Advance. That number is 336-499-0681. Every week we do a poll. This week our poll was people who put human DNA into cows, unjust use of the 16th Amendment, those who unjustly imprison our border guards, FBI and the media coverage of the Adams murders, those who try to keep third-party candidates off the North Carolina ballot, and Larry Silverstein, 9/11 profiteer. And our winner again for a second week was the IRS and the unjust use of the 16th Amendment. We will put that back on the website. Be sure and vote. And we only had one email this week, and it was from Brad. So I like the fact that someone in Statesville is openly saying what we all think and know is true. Thanks. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Brad. I appreciate your email. Stay in touch with us. We certainly do appreciate that. Remember, next week, the Real News is going to Washington, D.C. to cover the Freedom Rally. We'll be reporting on it next week. We also have a free DVD, Freedom to Fascism. You can pick up here 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, or at Custom Accessories. We will be getting interviews from Washington, hopefully, so we're not certain who our guests will be next week, but feel free to email us on air at therealnewsradio.com if there's anything you can suggest or for any questions. It's also streaming on WSIC Web, and I have a quote this week, and my quote is from John F. Kennedy: "Those who make peaceful revolution impossible will make violent revolution inevitable." And before I close, I would like to thank everyone. I would like to thank Mark, Billy, Brian, Ty, Devin, Dave, Keith, Kelly, everyone that listens, everyone that emails, everyone that gets involved. And until next week, this is Farron saying, God help us all.